Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here with another layout using the page kits that I put together. This is page kit number 7. Again, I skipped over, I think it's page kit number 3 and 5 because I didn't have the pictures for those. And when I got to page kit number 7, I looked and it had all kinds of flamingos. And I thought, yes, that was for the pictures I took of the flamingos at the zoo. This is the zoo that's closest to my house, and we take Mason to this zoo all the time. And this year they had flamingos, and I love flamingos, so I took a bunch of pictures. And in some of the embellishments, when I was putting them together, I saw flamingos, and I knew that I had some of these pictures on my roll of camera or my digital camera, and that I just needed to scrap them. So I had a bunch of pictures, and I knew that, I didn't want 2-3 pages of these, but I wanted as many pictures as I could of the different flamingos. So what I decided to do is I had one 4x6 photo that was a vertical photo, and then the other ones I just cut out parts of the photo, and I made it so that it was 2x2 so that it fits almost fit next to my photo. And then what I did to make sure that it fit, I just cut each picture, the 2x2, down just a smidgen, like maybe a 1/16 of an inch each photo I've cut down so that it would then line up with the 4x6 photo. I then mounted the whole thing on some black cardstock. I mounted it in the center of the cardstock so that way I can use it to mat my whole layout, the pattern paper. And then right off the bat, where I know I want to mount the whole thing on some black cardstock, I'm just going to cut down that striped paper from, I think, that was one of the pads, I believe. It's a really flimsy paper. It's either Amy Tangerine or Dear Lizzie or Maggie Holmes or something like that. And they're the really flimsy pattern paper. As you can tell, like it's buckling from me just holding it. So usually when I have really thin pattern papers like this, I mount the whole thing on some black cardstock. And then I feel like my layout has, some substance to it, and it's not just going to be flippy flopping around. So the whole square is about 8x6. Because if you take the 4 inches and then the 2 inches, it's about 6. I guess it's 6x6, not 4x6. 6x6. And so that was a nice little size. And then I'm going to mount that on the polka dot paper. And I'm just going to leave a bigger border all the way around. And I have to tell you, I don't know what's going on this last few weeks, but I can't cut anything straight to save my life. Like everything is super crooked and I just don't know why. I don't know if I need new glasses or what the case is, but everything is super crooked. Like it doesn't matter if I butt it up against the cutter or not. Everything is crooked. So I don't know. I'm just going to have to maybe pay more attention. Anyway. So I was a little frustrated with that, and then I made another layout this morning. Actually, I made 2 layouts today. Today's October 23rd, and same thing. Everything was so crooked. It was like almost laughable. It was so crooked. But anyway, I managed to salvage both layouts, but again, I don't know what's going on, but everything's all crookedy crook. So anyway, for this page, I went through all the embellishments, and that's what I do when I first open up the kit. It's almost like a new kit for me because I put this together quite a bit ago. I'd say it's about a month, and getting close to a month. So I'm still a little unfamiliarized with everything that's in the kit because it's been in the page kit for, about a month. So I take everything out and I divide it by type. So I'll put my flares together, my wood veneers together, my die cuts together, and then that way it does a couple of things. It kind of gets me to go through everything and it's mainly to see what I have. And then once I know what I have, then I start making some embellishment clusters. One of them was this nice, like an acetate, but it wasn't clear. It was a little colored, and it was a circle, and it had flowers on it. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to end up cutting it in two by the time the layout is done. And I'm going to use it in a couple of spots. I'm going to end up using the leftover of stickers. I've mentioned when I put this page kit together that I love using the little border that's left from a sticker sheet. And you're going to see me, I mean, it takes a little bit of time because you got to cut around it yourself because it's, you know, it's got all that white sticker around it. But I find it just adds that little bit of something that you might need just to add a little bit of interest to that cluster. Now I'm going to ink everything with black soot. This is where I'm going to cut it in half, and I'm not going to use it right off the bat, but in a little bit I'm going to make an extra embellishment cluster where my journaling is going to be. Now I'm not going to do the journaling on video, but once you see the close-up pictures, you'll see that my journaling is done. Bonus points for me. I got my journaling done right away, which is awesome. I need to get back to that. I had started this little project where I'm going to take X amount of layouts per week and journal on them and then put them away. I even did a little video about how I'm going about going through all my layouts because I do have quite a few layouts that I need to put together. Now, another thing, this I pulled from my stash, is just a black and white washi tape, and I'm going to put it at just about every embellishment cluster. And there was one of the little die cuts that said Wild Heart, and I'm going to use that. That's going to be sort of the title for this page because I didn't have too much to say. I just want to say that our zoo now has flamingos, and it was, you know, kind of nice to have. It just kind of makes us feel kind of all tropically, you know. And it was just fun to see. Usually the only times that we ever saw them was when we went to Busch Gardens or at Disney and stuff, you know, like we saw some flamingos, but around here we had never seen them, so that was kind of cool to see. Okay, so while I'm placing the rest of the embellishments where I think I want them, I just want to mention that tonight, October 23rd, is the last night that you can get my new class, the For the Love of Shapes Circles, where we do a ton of layouts. It's actually 10 layouts, but one of them is a double page layout. The special ends tonight, and then tomorrow I'm going to be emailing everybody an extra bonus video, so an extra page. So really it's 12 pages, and so that ends tonight. So if you want to check that out, I have the link to my website down in the description bar below. And but anyway, back to this layout. At this point, I'm kind of working on 3 clusters, and I wanted to use that sun so bad because it's super cute. It says sunshine. I wish it would have been a little smaller, and I probably would have used it, but I'm going to end up using one wood veneer, which is one of the flamingos. And then I'm looking at that, and I'm really liking, you know, how it's looking. I have 3 clusters, and I mentioned this before. I love doing a cluster where my title is going to be. So this time it is where it says Wild Heart. So that's my title. So I have a little cluster there. But I'm going to feel like I'm going to need another cluster. So this is where I'm going to grab the other part of, well, first I'm going to cut the other part of that sticker. And this is, like I said, it's the leftover of this. There was a sticker inside of that, and this was just sitting in the sticker book, you know, ready to be thrown out. But I like using them, and I just cut around it, and then I just end up with that little bit of color, and then I use it as an embellishment cluster grounder, if you want to say. So it kind of grounds my whole cluster, I find. I really like that. It's so subtle, but it just gives it that little bit of something just around the cluster. And what it did in this case, it made those 3 clusters belong together because they all have that little spot of pink that is around the embellishment cluster. So I know I want to use another flamingo. I just don't know, like all the flamingos are just so big and they just, won't fit in the little clusters that I have. Another thing that I like to do is vary the size of my clusters. So as you can tell, the cluster that's around my title is much bigger than the cluster that's around the pink flamingo or the third cluster where my camera is. So this is where I decide, you know what, I want to have another cluster. So I'm just going to put it on that side of the layout. I just put it up a little bit compared to the other side, not by much, but just enough. And at first I put the wood veneer, and I'm going to try and find a few other little embellishments to put in that embellishment cluster. Like I said, I try to vary the sizes of the embellishment cluster. So that one's going to be, except for that wood veneer that's kind of biggish, everything else is going to be just a few little things, and I'm going to finish it off by adding some enamel dots, and that is going to complete the layout. I just want to let you know there is some photos following of close-ups of all the embellishment clusters, and if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe. I do upload videos every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and sometimes on Saturdays. And if you're enjoying these videos, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, and we will talk to you on Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.